All right, so stretch number one for your Achilles or your plantar fascia is quite simple. What we need to do is we need to find something about the height of your knee. And all I want you to do is step on it like this, preferably barefoot. Make sure your foot is straight. When the Achilles is tight, it's very possible that it wants to pull your foot where your ankle is on the inside. From here, all I want to do is lean forward. My goal is to feel the stretch back here. If you don't feel the stretch right away, you can look at stepping on something a little bit higher, or you can also play with your leg, your standing leg, if you will, right here. So you can move it forward. You can try to lean down a little bit into it, which technically would not be good posture. However, since a lot of the body weight is on my left leg, it is okay. It is actually not bad for your knee. If it doesn't feel good, then don't do it. The easiest way is to find something a little bit higher if you don't feel it. But the goal here is just to lean forward a little bit. Your heel can come a little bit up off the ground, that's fine, because then what you can do is you can push it down a little bit more and you can get more of a stretch in this Achilles. This is probably the most friendly way to stretch it because A, you can do something like this at work. You just step on whatever you have, a chair maybe, and B, you don't need a whole bunch of mobility in your hip, your ankle, and your knee in order to do this stretch. The next stretch I'm going to show is going to be a little bit more difficult with overall body mobility, and the third is going to be the most advanced. So we need something that everyone is able to do because your plantar fascia or your Achilles is coming from this tug of war between the bottom of your foot, so your plantar aponeurosis is what that area is called, and your Achilles. They're both pulling on this heel bone, which I'll show right here, and we need to get that pull, that tension to release because bone is the most sensitive tissue in the body, and when the bottom foot muscle starts losing the war, it's the calcaneus, that muscle, the bone again here, starts pulling away, and that is what's causing your plantar fascia. Now, if you have Achilles tendonitis, it's basically the same thing. It's just because it's winning that tug of war that somehow it has also gotten irritated. All right, so stretch number two is also fantastic. However, you can see the position I'm sitting in needs a little bit more overall mobility. So if you've had a total knee or you've had an ACL or you're just lacking mobility, this might be a difficult position to start in. However, good news. This right here, I call the Japanese sitting position, is not part of the stretch. So if you can't do this, you can still do the second stretch. The reason I want to speak about this is because how healthy this position is for my knees, for my hips, and also for my ankles. So if you have a dog, if you have a kid, if you have a cat, if you have something that can get you on the ground and sit you in this position throughout the day for 3 to 5 minutes, please do so. A, if it's easy for you, great, do it so you keep it. B, if it's a little bit painful, you can either sit in this position, you can lean on something to help you get in this position, but this, a little bit of extra credit here, is a very important position to really maintain joint health in your hips and below. However, now let's get into the stretch. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my left foot, I wanna make sure that this makes the most sense here, and I'm gonna align my toe up with my knee. This I like to call the thinking man stretch. Sorry ladies, but it was the statue that reminds me of the thinking man here. Because what I'm able to do is with my heel a little bit in the air, I can push this diagonal pressure down this way. So with my own body, I can lean into the stretch like this. Now, right when you put this pressure on there, you should feel the stretch in the back of the ankle. A little tip, if you feel a little bit of just pinching in front, is try to kind of curl your butt out as if you were like trying to hit it against the wall and get your chest up. So kind of like a squat position. From here, this allows my Achilles to really open up. It creates some space in my knee so my heel can drop. And from this position, I'm able to either hold the stretch like this, or if I want to, I can even set that outside knee out. So I'll show you what that looks like from this angle. See, so before I was here, and now I set that outside knee out, and what you will realize is this allows you to A, balance a little bit better, B, move into the position to kind of help open up the joint and the fascia, but also now this looks like half of a squat position. So instead of my knee just jerking forward, it's a little bit forward and out, which is really allowing the entire stretch of the lower leg, the fascia, and practicing this position that we would need when we sit, when we stand, when we get on the floor, when we deep squat, something that's very important, very crucial. And unfortunately, due to shoes with the heel raise and the arch support, we end up losing this mobility. Hence, the bottom of the foot gets tight, the Achilles gets tight, and we either get Achilles tendonitis or plantar fascia. The final one is definitely the most advanced. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from the position I was just in, and we're gonna kind of climb into a position as if we were gonna go to the bathroom on the floor. So let me maybe change my angle here so you can see a little bit better. And you can realize that I could sit with my heels down, that's fine, but that's not what I wanna do with this stretch. What I wanna do is I wanna get my ankles in the air. I don't necessarily want to balance like this because now my Achilles is actually and my calf are working, so it's going to be hard to get them to stretch. What I want to do is I want to lean a little bit on my fingers, because what this will allow me to do is start to straighten my spine, relax my Achilles enough to where I can start to open up and stretch. And from this position, I can just start to kind of lean a little bit on my left side, lean a little bit on my right side, and really try to get that weight to open up the back of my ankle and my Achilles, but also the bottom of my foot. Now, something I like to do from here is, let's see, which position do I want to do? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my left foot, so it's almost as if I'm like spraining my ankle. I can really feel that on the side, and what that allows me to do is open my left leg with my elbow, but also sit deeper onto my right leg. So this really starts to focus on the outside of my ankle, my left ankle, but also the Achilles of my right side. And from here I would hold that. You can always play around with the position. I like to call these positional stretches because they're really stretching the position, and the tightest link is going to stretch the most and be your limiting factor, if you will. And then from here, what I like to do is then switch. So now, I don't know if you can see it because of the camera, but I'm opening up on my right ankle, which ironically enough is much tighter than my left. And it allows me to now sit back, maybe lean forward actually a little bit, there we go. It allows me to sit back into my left Achilles. My left side overall is better than my right. This is also quite interesting because it will give you an idea of the imbalance that you have in your body, because as I always say, imbalances are basically the devil to the body. It is like it's like tug of war, Team Navy SEALs versus Team Toddlers. So one of the best things you can do not only is open up the tightness in your body, but also work on balancing it out so it's more even and there's not one side that's much better than the other. So as you can see, I'm still in this position. I'm still playing around with it. I can really start to feel it here and also in the bottom of my foot. If this one is possible for you, it's fantastic. Little tip is I would do number one, the one where we stand, everywhere you can, and 2 and 3 maybe at home, because when I do number 2 and 3 in public or at a gym or wherever, people always come and ask if I'm okay and if I'm having like a heart attack or something. So definitely do the first one everywhere, and the second and third, just be prepared for a little bit of extra attention. All right, and finally, if you enjoyed these videos, please hit that subscribe button. Please drop a comment. Please let me know. Share them with your friends. And if you want to join my 5-day Unbreakable Body Challenge, the link in the description is below. Check out my podcast, The G-Spot with David Grant, where I go into a little bit more fun about what I think about mobility. It's a little bit more of my raw side. And if you like these videos and you want shorter ones and daily ones, check out my, TikTok page, Unbreakable Body, and Instagram at RehabGTS. And again, as always, thanks for taking the time. Let me know how this worked. I hope your Achilles tendonitis, your plantar fascia, and your overall mobility is getting better. Every single week I got videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I hope to see all of you there.